Good morning. This recording is specifically for parents who were not able to join us for our Coffee with Counselors this week. We will have another one scheduled for next week, and I will be sure to send that information out. It actually will be next Friday, I believe at 10 a.m. So we are just going to go through the presentation to share the information with you. And so we will get kicked off with Ms. Sullivan, and she is going to share some information on how you can support mental wellness as a parent at home during this time.
So good morning. I hope this finds you well. I know many of you probably heard this a lot, that we are in this together, and we are in this together in a lot of different ways. I know many of you are working from home, juggling children, family relationships, those types of things. But please know that everything that you're feeling and everything that you're going through is typically normal. I do work sometimes with a life coach, and they stress that if we look at things as just as a circumstance, it's not good or bad, it's just something that has happened. Try to control our thinking about it, because our thoughts are what cause our feelings are what cause us to react. And then we have actions that follow based on our reactions. So it always helps to kind of neutralize that little bit, that it's not good or bad, it just is a thing, and try to work forward from there. Okay, I'm going to slide on down. So there's some strategies that you can use. One of them is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you would start with listing or looking at 5 things that you're looking at. I'm looking at my vision board. I'm looking at my fireplace mantle, looking at my couch. I'm looking at a table. I'm looking at the bracelet on my arm. So then I would talk about the things that I hear. I hear the dishwasher running. I hear birds outside. I hear my porch swing swinging back and forth. I hear the little computer dinging in the background. And then I hear my voice. The second thing would be smells. I smell basically the lotion on my face. And then I also smell my lunch that I had. And then taste. This was pretty easy for me since I just finished lunch. I still taste the Doritos on my breath that I just had. So that makes it easy. So all that just took me into my senses and took me away from the actual situation itself. The next one, I use this one all the time to try to keep me kind of straight the whole day. It's 4, 7, 8. You basically inhale a breath for 4 seconds. You hold it for 7. And then you push it out for 8 until you can feel your abdomen tighten. And sometimes if you push the air out hard, you might even actually make a sound. And that's okay. That helps you to kind of calm. Also, journaling is a great thing to do, especially if you have emotions that you're not real thrilled with. It's a good way to get them out. If it's something that you wrote and you're like, oh, that just made me feel terrible, sometimes shredding the paper or throwing it away can make you feel better, and just kind of tossing those emotions aside. A lot of students are going through the same thing. You might be trying to navigate your child's emotions. That's their job. But we can serve as a guide to kind of help them. So they're grieving being with their friends, or grieving with being at school. They might want to deny that they're not going to be able to go back to school for the end of the year activities. They might be angry about that. They might say to themselves, well, gosh, maybe if I get all my work done, a miracle will happen and it'll all be okay. They might feel sad about it, but the goal is to accept it. And kids are a lot more resilient than we give them credit for. Nurturing that acceptance and allowing them to have their feelings, and telling them, again, it's just something that happened. It's not good or bad. We have the skills to navigate it. We're all going to have these feelings, but we can help each other. And then Miss Williams is our mental health counselor. These are all the things that she has suggested for our students. Her number is listed on the screen. She also has Mindful Minds Mail on Instagram, and she hosts Wellness Wednesdays each week. That's sent out on Instagram, and it's also sent out through our student ILPs for them to participate.
Awesome. So I will pick up here. This is the presentation that we went over with students this week, along with the parents who were able to join. So the biggest thing we want you and the students to know is that we are here. We are here for students. Even though we're not in our offices, we are very much still providing support to students emotionally, academically, transition-wise, with planning for their future. So, should you or your child need to set up an appointment with the counselor, you can send an email like you normally would, or make a request on the app or the school website. We are still monitoring our conference request forms. So I want to talk briefly about what we review with seniors. One, I'll scroll back up here. Ms. Schneido, this was just a note from Ms. Schneido. She's one of the class sponsors for class of 2020. And so she just wanted the students to know that she is working along with the team and admin to think of ways that we can celebrate and recognize our seniors during this time. So with that being said, caps and gowns. We are working on a plan to distribute caps and gowns at this moment. Sorry. In a normal year, this typically does not happen until late May. However, we are in the process of getting those items and developing a plan to distribute. So be looking for information on that to come. Each senior has to complete a senior transition survey. This survey is located in their email, and it actually came from this email address that I have highlighted for you. So please make sure your senior has done this. And if they, for whatever reason, cannot find the senior transition survey, they can just send Ms. Crutcher an email. And Ms. Crutcher will go in our infrastructure and resend it to them. We are also still processing transcripts at this time, and we really want to encourage the seniors right now that, today is May 1st, and so this is a big college decision-making day. So, as your students are thinking about where they're honestly going to go to college or whatever their post-secondary desires are, we want them to go ahead and request that final transcript. They can do so by logging into Parchment, and if they plan on joining the military, or if they plan to be a student athlete in college, they can also request their final transcript to go to NCAA or NAIA. The biggest thing we want to stress is that when they request their final transcript, they need to click Hold for Grades. By doing so, once the final grades are posted for this semester, it will have their recalculated GPA along with their grades on it for this semester. Another big point of information that I want to note is that all of the students' Parchment accounts are set up with their JCPS email, and starting August 1, those emails will no longer be active. So with that being said, each student needs to go in to Parchment, and they need to change their actual email address. Here is a link. You can click on this and it will reroute you to a video demonstrating how to do that. We also shared with the seniors this virtual college panel, COVID-19 edition, in which we had multiple college reps around the state share out experiences and things that colleges and institutions are doing to meet students' needs right now and help them transition to college during COVID-19. It's about a 50-minute watch, definitely beneficial. This is something that juniors can also take advantage of. Lastly, for seniors, I do want to point out that scholarships are still being uploaded to our scholarship site. So this is a hyperlink. You can click on this. It will reroute you there. So we highly encourage for seniors at this time to still pursue scholarships to meet that financial need gap. Next, we'll move on to Ms. Crutcher for juniors.
Juniors are very excited about the transition into their senior year through the giving of their senior rings. Vendors are available to make arrangements for getting those ring orders to student families. So we encourage you to contact your direct vendor, whoever that may be, to access those rings. We also referenced with the juniors starting to think about life after high school. I know that they are all just trying to survive NTI right now, but looking ahead over the summer, the ACT will be a key component in the college admissions process. So with that, ACT is advertising a June 13th test date. The registration link is here. You can click that button and it will take you to a site to register for the ACT exam. On your own, you can come back and read some of these new information from the ACT. But starting next year, ACT will allow students to retest specifically in a subject area. So that's going to be beneficial to students starting with the September 2020 exam. We also talked about that there will be changes in the fee waiver process. Typically, ACT only allowed 2 fee waivers to students in a lifetime, but now they have increased that to 4 starting in 2020. So if a student needs to request a fee waiver for an ACT exam, they can select this button. It goes to our records clerk, who will then coordinate with the student on getting them that test waive owed. As I referenced, college admissions go hand in hand with ACT, but they are making some changes because we are realizing that students can be more than a test score, and we all know that. So some institutions are waiving the ACT requirement for admissions and for scholarships. So as your students start the college research process, that would be one key piece of information for them to start collecting about whether or not the ACT is required. So by selecting that link, it will take you to a listing of current agencies, current admissions offices that are waiving those ACT requirements. We also encourage the juniors to watch that virtual college panel that Ms. Drinkard was referencing earlier. It does have a lot of valuable information for those rising seniors. Along with that, it may be difficult this summer to make actual boots on ground campus visits. So colleges are very much shifting their focuses to virtual campus visits. We encourage students over the summer to start visiting campuses virtually and narrowing their college lists so that when we are given the all clear to be on campuses together, they could have a narrowed down list of places that they want to visit. So starting that process, May 4th through the 6th, we have a virtual college fair, an awesome opportunity for students to connect with college admissions panels, college admissions reps one-on-one, and start asking those questions about scholarships, test scores, what do I need to be taking for a particular major? So lots of opportunities there. It is over a 3-day period and does require a student registration. I'm going to turn scheduling over to my colleague, Mr. Johnston.
So before we left for our extended break, we had begun the process for scheduling for next year. Students were to enter their schedule requests into Infinite Campus, and by and large, most students have already done so. If they have not, it is still open and will remain open through this weekend and will most likely close on Monday. If they have not done that. Instructions on how to do that, as well as links to videos that detail the instructions, as well as links to our course guide. All of that stuff is in each student's Google Classroom under their ILP classroom. So that has been sent out several times. And as I said, most students have already completed that part. We also highly encourage all of our students to go ahead and finish their ILP if they have not done that. It is still something that's very useful for students to to research careers and colleges. And it's also a requirement each year. So if your student has not completed their ILP, and they should know if they have or have not, I encourage them to do that through Google Classroom in the ILP classroom. We also encourage you to communicate with your students' teachers and encourage them to communicate with their teachers. NTI is a very different experience for all of us. And we want to make sure that everyone is getting what they need. So please encourage your student and yourself to reach out to those teachers if you have questions. We have encouraged our teachers to be flexible. So please reach out to them if you have concerns. And we also want to make sure that we've stressed the importance of finishing strong. Although this is a very unique experience with NTI, it provides an opportunity for some students to hopefully improve their grades. So finishing strong for when we are able to actually get back in the building and start school in a normal way is very, very important.
And lastly, to wrap up, the rest of this presentation, which will be provided in the link in the email as well, is just tips for you and your student in regards to making routines and definitely handling mental health right now during this time, ways to cope and thus forth. So with that being said, this will conclude the presentation. You know, right now, we really just want everyone to worry about what is within your control, focus on those items. This too shall pass. We are here to help your students. So please, if you need us, please reach out to us either via email or through conference request.